Hello movie fans, and welcome back to another video. Today we have a movie that was at least a little highly anticipated for me, but I will say that is only because it is based off of the game. Today we are talking about Until Dawn. Now, pretty self-explanatory. The movie Until Dawn, it even says it in the credits, is based off of the PlayStation game Until Dawn. Now, initially going into that, of course, everyone including me, you're like, oh, this is a movie about the snowy cabin, and it's about the game, and it's just gonna be a recreation of the game. You're wrong. Now, I will right off the bat say, I think we might talk about a couple spoilers here and there, just because you kind of need to for this movie. There's some wonky stuff that was happening, that's for sure. So if you don't wanna have a couple things spoiled for you, maybe don't tune into this one. Yeah, so right off the bat, it wasn't really based off of the game, in my opinion. It felt like another excuse to just kind of use the IP for something to try and drag some people in, and then we can loosely base it off of it kind of thing. It would be like, imagine if they made The Last of Us show like they are right now, but they didn't actually stick to the story of the game at all and just made up their own interpretation of The Last of Us. You would kind of like, well, okay, like sure it might be okay, but this isn't The Last of Us, you know? And that's kind of how this movie felt, where throughout the whole time you're watching it, you're like, now this isn't bad, but this isn't Until Dawn in any way. It just felt like a cheese because the point of the movie was you had to survive until the morning. So then you could call it Until Dawn, and it just felt like a segue for them to use it, I guess. I can't say. Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump right into this one here. Your main premise for the movie in this one is you're going to be following a group of teenagers who are stuck in a cabin, reliving the same night over and over again, and they're just trying to survive the night, basically. And the interesting thing about this one is every night you experience, there's a different creature or monster or just villain hunting you, which I thought added for some good, like, it added some good suspense for sure, because you weren't sure what was coming to kill them this time. So yeah, well, even just listening to that main plot premise, does any of that scream Until Dawn to you? Not really, no. Now I will say they did include a couple moments in this movie that kind of felt Until Dawn-y. So again, minor spoilers here if you don't want to know. But so one of the creatures, one of the nights was a Wendigo. It wasn't giving me Wendigo, I guess. Obviously, if you've played the game, you know the feeling and what's supposed to look like. And they went a little more of a zombie route with the Wendigo, which I was a little disappointed with. So the Wendigos weren't tall, they weren't lengthy. I'll even see if I can do a little side-by-side here comparison and show you that it's just not the same Wendigo, it's not the same thing. And honestly, I wasn't scared by it. And the other thing too is I felt like the Wendigos kind of followed some weird, let's put it this way, the characters had some strange plot armor against the Wendigos, I'll just say that. So if you know Wendigos, they're fast as fuck, dude. If you've played Until Dawn, you know you have like split seconds to do anything because these Wendigos are so fast. And they do show that in the movie. They show how fast the Wendigo can be. But then all of a sudden, when they start running away from the Wendigo runs at like normal human speed and can't catch up to them, even though it's like, we just saw it's fast as fuck. So I think this movie had some strange plot armor, unfortunately. Which is weird because it's a movie about you constantly dying and having to relive the same night and die every time. So why have some like death plot armor? Yeah, it seems a little funky to me. Seems a little funky. Yeah, so I thought the plot for this movie was very unique in its concept of kind of reliving the night and trying to escape it and all of that. But by the end of the movie, it almost got a little, for me at least, it got a little too confusing for its own good. Just in the fact of trying to explain what was happening and why everyone who went into this cabin was stuck reliving that night kind of thing. Just the whole explanation got a little like convoluted and it just seemed a little messy, I guess. Yes, let's talk about the characters. I think one of my issues with this movie is if you've played the Until Dawn game, it's very it's very real, if that makes sense. So it's not a horror in the sense like your classic horror movies where it's, oh my God, it's like the Geico commercial. We should go hide behind the chainsaws.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
So like whenever you were playing the game, obviously you were making the decisions, but even your options were very real decisions of what like a character would actually do in that situation. Where again, spoilers. We're gonna do a little spoilers here, but I feel like we just gotta dive into this. So there's a moment in the movie where one of the friends gets possessed by a demon and basically, I'll just say self-combusts, kind of like that. Like as possessions go, you know, the host dies. And as the friend is dying, her dying words are, don't open the door, don't let it inside the house. Literally 2 seconds later, there's something knocking on the door, and I think everyone but one character went, oh my God, we have to open the door. There's someone outside, we have to see. And only one friend went, hey, she literally just told us not to open the fucking door. And it was just all ignored and like, yeah, we're just dumb. Like you're telling me in a real situation, if your friend just died of possession and said, whatever you do, don't open that door, you're not opening that fucking door. Like, so I think part of my issue with this movie was it fell into that horror cheese category where it was almost just like what are these decisions? They don't even they don't have any common sense to them, I guess. And so yeah, as expected, our main character girl opens the door and there's nothing there and she gets killed by a ghost and like possessed as well, kind of thing. Where it's like she literally just told you. Yeah, so some more dumb character decisions. So they got to a point where they realized that if they die, they can restart the night and kind of try to survive again. So they get to a point where if they lose one of the friends, they go, fuck it, let's just all let ourselves die so we all can get out of here together, kind of thing. Which makes sense, I get it. But again, it just goes back to making some kind of like dumb decisions where they're literally just talking and discussing a plan of what to do. And one of the friends takes a pickaxe to the other friend who was, actually, it was the one who was telling them not to open the door for the ghost. They literally grab a pickaxe and stab it through his gut. Like, just like a normal day. Like, let me just pickaxe my friend here.
How many more deaths do you have in you? Be honest. I mean, didn't she try and kill herself twice last year? Isn't this just giving her what she wants? What the fuck, Nina?
And they all just sit there like, hey, don't worry. You go out and try to find so-and-so who just got possessed. I'll stay here with him and make sure he doesn't disrupt anything. What the fuck? And then then when the next night starts, the dude just like forgets that this chick just pickaxed him out of pure anger and like, it was just very like, wait, this is kind of dumb. Yeah, I think this is just one of those movies where it didn't really feel like the characters had a brain in that sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the saucy opinion here. We've done a lot of deep diving. I'm going to put this one here at it had some heat. I was debating between putting at it had some heat and medium down there, but it was one of those movies that I feel like it's good in retrospect, but the execution just fell a little flat, unfortunately. I will say one of my biggest pet peeves with this movie is it's not the game. And I would say that's like not a problem, but then again, spoilers, at the end of the movie, they tease the cabin from the game. So it just feels a little sloppy where it's like, why are we watching this random ass thing when you're telling us we could be watching the movie of the game, but you just didn't decide to make it, and maybe we'll do that as Until Dawn 2 if this is successful. You know, where it's just like, just just give us what we want, you know? It's the story's already written out for you perfectly. The characters are written out perfectly. Like, everything's already there. It shouldn't be that hard to just take the source material and adapt it. That's why I brought up Last of Us earlier, because I feel like they're at least trying to pick up the game and adapt literally that into the movie or the show, where you can tell Until Dawn was the classic. They picked your one name here and there that could technically connect it to the game, so I guess it's a movie about the game. Again, we're talking full spoilers here now. We're getting into deep spoilers. I'm gonna be honest, I hated how the movie ended. Hated it. So there was this running, one of the knights, the creature or whatever they're trying to fight is water. So they all drink a glass of water because they're very thirsty, but it turns out it's explosive water.
Holy fuck!
So everyone self-combusts and literally just explodes into 1,000 pieces. Random, bizarre, you're just like...
I'm sorry. What?
What the fuck? But so anyway, she ends up killing the psychiatrist because they're in his office and he happens to have a pipe above his desk running the explosive water, which is leaking, and he conveniently puts his coffee on the desk. Like, literally, if this was the coffee, this is the water leak dripping from the ceiling, like that. Like, he doesn't know the water is explosive, even though he runs the whole place. It, again, just feels a little sloppy to me. But so the main character is able to, like, basically distract him and just go, move the cup so it gets the drip, right? And then just move the cup right back over. And so the dude drinks the coffee and explodes. And that's how the movie ends and they escape. Where it's just, it feels very weird. Like, why was there exploding water? Where did this come from? What is it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me, I guess. They did try to explain it a little bit, like all of the creatures were manifestations of the main character's emotions because she was being psychiatrically evaluated the whole movie, I guess, by the psychiatrist. And so the explosive water is supposed to be because she's emotionally explosive? Again, you're just like, it feels very messy. Feels like they had potential, but it just came out a little confusing. And then on top of that, it's just not the game, which is a tad unfortunate. Literally, give me the funding right now. I will be able to produce a better Until Dawn movie that's actually about the game and follows the story and is like good. I feel like it's not that hard. But anyway, that's enough rambling about this one here. We kind of went for a while. But hope you all enjoyed watching this episode of My Saucy Opinion here today. We are now getting into like, it's movie madness. We got new movies coming out every week. So make sure you keep tuning in to check what movie's next. Oh my goodness, we have Thunderbolts this weekend. So be on the lookout for Thunderbolts this weekend. I think we're seeing it on Friday, so I'll try and get that up Friday. Yeah, so there's gonna be movies every week, so stay on the lookout. I hope you all enjoyed watching this episode of My Saucy Opinion. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. So side note, as I'm sitting here editing this, I did enjoy actually the found footage scene a lot because I love when they incorporate found footage in movies. And those are actually where some of the best monsters were in the movie. But I wish they were used a little bit more because it was so cool in that scene, but we only got it for maybe 30 seconds. All right, Future Ben out.